What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm so excited to share this video with you because I feel like it's very important. It's very crucial in the life of a believer, and it's something that we all go through, something we all need to keep in mind, myself included, and something that I just believe, even on my own part, honestly, is that I need to work on and that I need to fix and get better at. And I want to encourage you guys with it as well. And that is, what are you consuming? Is what we're going to be talking about here today. And I want to encourage you, if you like the channel, if you like the video at any point, I want to encourage you to like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the things, you guys, like I say in almost every video. So again, we can win more souls for the kingdom, so we can impact more lives for the Lord, and so we could just continue to bring the kingdom of heaven down here on earth and let it reign and let it manifest here on earth. So I want to encourage you. I appreciate you being here. And you guys, this topic is so important because I find myself honestly struggling with this from time to time. I feel like nowadays in the world we're living in, it could be so easy to get distracted. It can get so easy to get distracted with our phones, with social media, with, television, with, sports, with relationships. There's so many different things thrown at us nowadays, and that have, taken place in, times past as well, of course. But I feel like nowadays it's just easier to fall into just distraction, fall into things that are not going to benefit us any way, shape, or form. And I want to encourage you that we need to be cautious of what we're looking at, what we're listening to. And you guys, when we're born again believers and followers of Jesus Christ, we need to understand that we need to be fixing our eyes on the Lord, right? And seeking the things above. Scripture says, seek first the kingdom and all else shall be added unto you. And I feel like a lot of times why we're so distracted, why we, don't dedicate as much time as we should to the Lord, meaning getting into our word, spending time in prayer, spending time in worship, is because we're not making him first priority in our lives. And honestly, that's just the truth, because if we were, then we would have the situation different, right? And I want to encourage you, we all fall short of the glory of God. None of us are perfect, but we can, begin to take actions and make changes in our lives. And it's up to us in order to do so, right? And I want to encourage you, we could be so distracted because, things may seem more enticing to us, or because we may be desiring something maybe very heavily in our lives. And you guys, we need to understand, like I said before, when we seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, all these other things that, we're desiring, what we're hoping for, what the Lord wants for us, will be added unto us, right? But we need to put him first and seek him first and make him first priority in our lives, you guys. And you guys, a lot of times when we are just so consumed with whatever it may be, again, social media, movies, music, right? Things we're listening to. It doesn't just have to be things we're watching, but what we're listening to, things we're getting ourselves involved in, right? But whenever we're, just consuming things that are not of the Lord, that are not going to purify us, edify us, or again, just grow us closer to the Lord, then it can really deter us and lead us down a wrong and bad path that is ultimately can be destructive in the end. And I want to encourage you, because of the fact, you guys, we need to stand on guard in our faith. We need to put on the full armor of God each and every day so we can, withstand the wiles of the enemy, right? So we can literally just be strong, be bold in our faith, and really, again, dedicate as much time, energy, and resources as possible to the Lord, the thing that matters the most, right? And I want to share with you, because of the fact, why this is such a prevalent situation. And it's not only happened and it not only happens, and takes place today. It's happened basically in Jesus's time as well. And there's a scripture where I'm going to talk about that we'll get into in just a second. But understand, there's so many things just fighting for our time, fighting for our attention, our energy, our resources, right? And I want to encourage you, when we dedicate those to the Lord, I'm telling you, he will bless your life immeasurably, and he will give you so much more than you could have even asked or even thought of, right? And we need to put him first, right? We need to make him priority in our lives and really, truly do this. And there's a passage in scripture that we're going to get into that's found in the book of Luke, where it describes a situation where it's Jesus, Mary, and Martha. And, one of the ladies was, just attentive to the Lord, wanted to hear everything he had to say, was paying attention to him, and had her eyes fixed and her focus fixed on him. While one of the other ladies was, distracted, basically she was doing good things, right? But in the end, she was distracted and she wasn't putting her focus, time, and attention on the Lord. There's a thing I learned in life, and it is the fact that, we can distract ourselves, or we could be so busy doing good things, but not necessarily the right thing, right? It's one of the things I've learned in life. There's a difference between good and right, right? What's good in life is not always the right thing, right? Because we can always do plenty of good things, but, maybe it's not purpose for us. Maybe we're not called to do that, right? So I want to encourage you. That's something to think about, and something, I really realized and is a big thing, honestly. So it's good to know about. But we're going to get into the scripture in Luke chapter 10, starting in verse 38. We're going to go through a couple verses here, so hang tight. But it's so good. I'd rather, you listen to numerous, scriptures than, me just talking the whole time to you, right? Because this is what matters the most, right? And this is what we need to be in the most and focusing on the most. So anyway, in Luke 10, starting in verse 38, and again, this is describing a situation with Jesus, Mary, and Martha. And it says, as Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me. Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. So what this scripture is describing is the fact that we could be so caught up in so many different things, so many good things, right? But not always paying attention to what is the right thing, right? And, focusing and, again, spending our time doing the right thing. So I want to encourage you, right? Despite, the things that we're caught up in our life, we really need to fix our habits. We need to start with a mindset, a renewing of the mind, right? And changing our habits, changing our ways, our disciplines, and having self-control, a fruit of the Spirit, and utilizing all the fruits of the Spirit, quite honestly, as we always should be. But utilizing, again, self-control, discipline, and, if there's habits in our lives, things in our lives that are not serving us or being beneficial to us, then we need to change them, honestly, because if you continue in that routine, then, again, nothing's going to change, right? And if you truly want something to change in your life, you need to make a change somewhere in some area, an aspect of your life. So I want to encourage you with that as well. But you guys, another thing too is what we're consuming. Again, beneficial. Is it pure? Is it edifying? Right? A lot of times we can be watching, we can watch TV shows, scrolling on social media, all these things mentioned, right? And we can see things that are actually very bad for us, and again, as believers, that we shouldn't even be watching and looking at. And sometimes it doesn't even happen, by our choosing. Actually, it can be a lot of times we can be scrolling aimlessly on social media, and then something pops up that leads us to lust. Something pops up that leads us into a temptation, which then ultimately leads us into a sin. In the end, it's not the temptation that is necessarily the sin, but it's when you fall into it and commit the sin, commit the temptation, right, that is wrong, then that's when it becomes sin. So, right, Jesus was tempted yet without sin. So the temptation is not the sin, but when you fall into the temptation, it is the sin. So anyway, I want to encourage you with that. We need to be mindful of what we're looking at. If it comes to a point where you need to set up, settings on your phone to allow you to not look at certain content, to have privacies put into place, things of that nature, having friends holding you accountable, by maybe setting passcodes on your phone and only your friend knows the passcode, to certain stuff, things of that nature. I know grown men, I know pastors who lead worldwide ministries who have followings of millions of people, right? Literally, they have to hold themselves accountable, and they set up, literally, it sounds crazy, but is it really though? Because if that's what you need, then that's what you need, right? We're all different. We all, struggle with different temptations, different things that, may cause one to slip more easily than another. But I know a pastor, again, we're basically like a renowned pastor, at least in North America, maybe even around the world. I know he has viewers around the world and leads a huge ministry, has about over 40 campuses from what I've heard. Literally has to put things in place, right, for him to, not be able to look at certain stuff on his phone, because he can't, necessarily, like, sometimes it comes to a point where we can't, control the desires of our flesh. So we need to put parameters in place. That's the word I was looking for. He has set up parameters in his life to allow him to not cause this sin, these temptations, this destruction, right? The sin into his life. Yeah, so basically that's what it is. So long story short, we need to be careful what we're looking at, what we're listening to, right? Basically, I would say about 90 to 95% of the music I listen to nowadays is all just worship music. Honestly, that's what it is. I used to grow up and always listen to, like, rap, EDM, pop, hip hop, basically almost every genre, but I would say those are the main ones. I love music so much, and I really grew basically a love for worship music, just because honestly it sounds great, right? I'm not saying it all happened overnight, but I'm encouraging you that, like, you need to start implementing new things in your life, because music, what we listen to in general, can literally, cause, spiritual impacts on you. If you're just listening to things that are music that's filled with profanity, talking about, again, just like lustful things, talking about sex, drugs, it's just cursing the whole time, then is that really edifying for you? Is that purifying your soul? Is that making you better, right, as a believer? Is that making you a better Christian and growing you? Absolutely not. So I want to encourage you, start listening to things and watching things as well that's going to, be beneficial to you. One of the things I love about worship music is the fact that not only does it sound great, but you're also, again, you're worshiping the Lord at the same time. It's like a double win, right? You're doing it's two great things happening simultaneously, and you're actually doing something, again, beneficial. You can spend your time just wasting away at, lyrics that mean nothing and are so useless and so just like profane and just horrible, right? Or you can actually, listen to good music with good lyrics, meaningful lyrics, and you're worshiping and praising the Lord. So a lot of benefits from it, in my opinion, in my viewpoint. And again, what we're watching can, open gateways essentially to, causing us to fall into temptation and leading us into that sin that we talked about. So we really need to guard our eyes and our ears, and, just set our minds on the things above. I'm telling you, when you start to put these things into your life and set up these things in your life, it will truly bless you. I'm telling you, what we intake, right, it has an impact on our lives, whether we realize it or not, subconsciously, consciously, and spiritually, it does. It has an effect, whether we realize it or not. Maybe not like that, maybe not right away, but if you keep doing that over time, trust me, it will. And you already know what I'm talking about. So I'm sure you've seen it and have or are experiencing it in your own life. So this is to encourage you, and I think of it as simple as this. I'm a person who loves to work out. I love going to the gym. I love weight training. I love playing sports in general, but I mostly just do weight training nowadays. And it comes down to, if you're trying to lose weight, when I'm going to the gym, right? Whether I'm trying to put on muscle, lose weight, your diet, what you're intaking is very important, right? They say abs are created in the kitchen. And I honestly agree with that, because you can go to the gym, you can see some results, right? I'm not downplaying that, but to me, what I've noticed in my life, it's at least 60% diet, then 40% working out, doing the physical activity. But majority of it is the diet. What you're intaking matters. And, you know, if I'm intaking garbage and I just plan on, you know, working out maybe a couple times a week, then I'm not really going to get any result, really that many results, right? That much results. Definitely not the results in which I'm desiring, right? More than likely. And, you know, it really matters what you're intaking, right? If you're expecting to lose weight, but you're eating trash and you're eating, you know, too many calories, then of course you're not going to lose weight, right? It's going to be the opposite. So why do we expect ourselves to, you know, be growing closer to Christ, growing closer, again, just building up our faith, growing, again, more closer to the Lord, if we're literally having a trash, you know, a trash lifestyle, essentially, in the end, if we're consuming garbage and, you know, literally not doing what we should be doing, which is praying, spending time in the Word, worshiping, fasting. That's another one that a lot of people don't talk about, but fasting is such a life changer, you guys. I have a video of that as well. You can see previously in the channel, but you guys, these things are essential to the life of a believer and really will change your life for the better, I'm telling you. So in the end, I want to encourage you as we close just to be cautious and aware of what you're consuming, what you're intaking, right? And know that it does have an effect on your life, and it's up to you. You can make the change in your life. You can implement habits to slowly start making the changes in your life and start to see dramatic impacts in your life as well for the better. So I want to encourage you. I love you guys. Appreciate you watching the video, sticking around to the end if you did. And until the next video, I look forward to seeing you then. And I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day, truly. It means a lot for you. For me, it means a lot for me for you to be here. And I really appreciate you guys and all your support. So love you guys. And until the next video, I look forward to it. Take care.